That's a self-limiting belief. Me be the president of this country? God assured Moses repeatedly and said, I will be with you. You don't even know how you're going to get there. God will send you a destiny helper. Because this is what God did to Moses. He sent Aaron. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Julia. I make content about personal development, growing your money, growing your business, in all round, like the growth all round. But we want to grow based on the word of God. Like, we do not want to grow and then miss the mark. So you guys, you know the way it's almost the end of the year, because why is Christmas here with us? Okay, so because it's coming to the end of the year, I thought about something that I have not spoken about in my channel, and that is self-limiting belief. You find that you set goals at the beginning of the year. We all have that tendency to set goals at the beginning of the year, but come the end of the year, you've not done anything. Why is that? You had high hopes that you're going to accomplish one or two things in your list of vision, in the things that you foresaw yourself doing. Okay, for example, you wanted to change jobs, you wanted to move out of Nairobi, you wanted to go in another country, you know, try something different. But here is the end of the year and you're yet to do those things. Okay, so that's why I want to talk about self-limiting belief. Let me explain to you guys what is self-limiting belief first. So self-limiting belief is a negative or false assumption about yourself. Okay, it's simply how you look at yourself in a negative light. Okay, so we have every one of us has a tendency to not only look at our positive side, but dwell on our negativity, like where we fall short. Okay, to prevent yourself from achieving goals and whatever intentions you had for yourself. Okay, so you always feel like, I can't do that. Yes, I want to do it. So you know you want to do it, but why are you not doing it? Why haven't you done it? Okay, because you have a self-limiting belief of what you can be able to accomplish and what you cannot be able to accomplish. That's simply why come end of the year, you find you are not able to do or deliver the things that you had promised to yourself. Okay, and let me tell you guys, this is what I'm gonna say. As much as there are this self-limiting belief, and I told you guys on this channel, I'm gonna talk about this until I'm never gonna get tired about talking about this. Not unless you are self-aware that these are the limiting beliefs that you have carried with you, and that's why you're not able to accomplish or be able to achieve heights that you can see other people achieving. Have you ever sat down and wondered, why am I the only person who is not able to do these things? But these things were given to us for us to enjoy, but there's a limiting belief around it that makes you not even want to pursue. You want to, but you also don't want to, because there's a limiting belief behind that thing that you think you want in your life. Okay, so number one, you have to be very aware of what are your self-limiting beliefs, guys. I am not going to be coming here to talk about these things and you don't go and do deeper work. There's a deeper work that you need to discover about yourself and understand, what are my self-limiting beliefs? What makes me not want something but not have the ability to get to that thing that I want in my life or to achieve that goal? Where am I stagnant? Where am I feeling like I'm in this space for so long, like I'm not moving? There's no traction in my life. Okay, so you might actually not be able to achieve your goals because of the limiting beliefs around you. So sit down and figure out what are self-limiting beliefs that are holding you back from being the best version of yourself or being able to really go out there and achieve the goals that you can see other people are doing. Guys, you know, this is the best thing. As long as you're healthy, you're of sound mind, you are capable of doing anything and everything that you set your mind to. Those boundaries that have, or those limits that have been achieved by other people, it's very possible for you also. It's not limited to a particular group of people, but your mindset around that thing can make you achieve or not achieve. Because the root causes of you having these self-limiting beliefs is because our brain, the first work that our brain does is to shield us or protect us against things that that are very new to us. Okay, so that's the number one thing. So anytime you want to do something very new, your mind will try and tell you, no, 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 you can't do that. It tries to protect you. Or if you subject yourself into hard or difficult conditions, your mind will tell you, stop, 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 you have to stop, because it's such a new thing for you. So your mind wants to protect you because it feels like that thing is a threat to you. Okay, and that's why it has to get to a place where your endurance has to be greater. You have to keep doing it until your mind gets used to that thing, that this is not a threat. You're doing it and then doing it until your mind gets comfortable with you pushing yourself to that limit. But you have to start somewhere. Okay, so as I said, there are triggers that make you have this self-limiting belief. Number one, fear. Number two, imposter syndrome. And another thing is past experiences. Okay, you're not the first person, you're not going to be the last person that has these challenges of not being able to do certain things because of the belief. The difference is we all have different self-limiting beliefs. Like, it's not what I am limited to is not what you're limited to. So that you have to, that's what I'm saying, you have to sit down and understand what is your self-limiting beliefs. Okay, so I've said there are triggers as to why you have those self-limiting beliefs. Fear. Okay, and I'm going to say here, let me give you an example. As I was looking at this topic, I went to the book of Exodus. Okay, so let me give you a backstory. You know Moses from the Bible. I guess, I hope you guys all know Moses. Okay, so Moses, when he was delivering the children of Israel from Egypt to the promised land, guess what happened? He also had a limiting belief. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Yeah, he had a self-limiting belief. When God said, you're the one to deliver the children of Israel from the bondage of Egypt to the promised land, that was such a massive thing to take on. Okay, and Moses immediately doubted. He immediately doubted his ability to do that. He was like, me? You want me to go back to Egypt? And let me tell you guys, this is what surprised me the most. That Moses was raised in the house of Pharaoh, and he was not even new in that land. Like, he had stayed, he was raised in that household. Okay, but he still felt like, I can't do that. Okay, the Bible says in Exodus 3:11, it says, this is what Moses said, who am I? Who am I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israel out of Egypt? Moses was questioning his worthiness and doubted the ability to fulfill such a significant role. He doubted. Do you know who Moses is? If you don't know, like, he was still doubting his ability. Okay, then Exodus chapter 4 verse 1, it says, what if they don't believe me or listen to me? And still, these people, he had a relationship with the house of Pharaoh. Like, he had a relationship in Egypt, but he was still questioning, what if they don't believe? Another verse, Exodus 4:10, it says, I have never been eloquent. I am slow of speech and tongue. In another Bible story, they talk about it like he used to stammer, like he was a stammerer. So he was not able to deliver words properly. So how many of us has this limiting belief that I cannot do this because I'm not eloquent? I cannot do these things because who am I? Who am I to stand here and speak to an audience? Or you're thinking, how can I start YouTube and I'm a stammerer? How can I start YouTube when I am not eloquent in my delivery? That's a self-limiting belief, because you're the only person who has put that limiting belief on yourself. Moses' limiting belief stemmed from fear, because he feared who Pharaoh was, because he had stayed in his in the land of Egypt. Secondly, imposter syndrome. You know, where you're thinking, me be the president of this country, me become the chairlady of this organization, me. You know, we have that tendency of always thinking, I know someone who can do this work best, but you never look at yourself like, because I'm thinking, the reason why you're looking at it that way is because you're thinking you're less of a person. You're not seasoned to do that work. Okay? What made you think like you're not able to become the CEO of a company? What made you think that you cannot be able to start a business, a thriving business, or do business internationally. It's just a limiting belief as to what you think you're capable of doing or not doing. Okay. God assured Moses repeatedly and said, I will be with you. Let me tell you, I really enjoy the Bible. This is the beauty. When you're ready to, when you do things even out of fear, this is something that I've come to realize. When you do things even out of fear, like the way he was asking me to deliver the children of Israel from the land of Egypt, me, when I'm a stammerer, I can't even be able to hold a conversation with the king. Or how am I even going to present myself before the king and tell him I want to take all his slaves from the land of Egypt and take them to the promised land because I'm sent here. This is what I feel like, you guys. When you're ready to do something, even when you don't even know how you're going to get there, God will send you a destiny helper. Because this is what God did to Moses. He sent Aaron to be like his translator. Like God said, I will be with you. And empowering him with signs, and Aaron as a helper. Like God really sent him a helper. That, okay, this is where you're fearing to do this because you feel like you're not the best person for the job. Then I'm going to send you a destiny helper. Someone who's going to help you do that thing that you've been afraid to do because you feel like you have a limiting belief. How wonderful is that? So, let me not get ahead of myself because I might get ahead of myself and start saying things that are already on this video, okay? Because your human brain is wired for survival, okay? When you're faced with potential challenges, it will always, the first thing that will do is just take a step back, okay? For example, you want to apply for a promotion. The year has ended. Why haven't you applied for that promotion? Because you think Sally or you think Jane is the one who is suited for that position. Why haven't you gone ahead and try? Like, just throw, this is what I say. No one has come to you and said, you cannot apply for that position except yourself. No one has come and said, please don't apply for this position. What if you go ahead and apply for that position? So what will be the worst that can happen to you? What will be the worst thing that can happen when you take a stand and just do it, okay? Because when are you ever gonna know your abilities of when are you ever gonna know or challenged if you don't put yourself in a position of challenge, of saying, I know this can be a very hard task, but I'm willing to take up this task and I'm willing to learn on the job. But if you keep saying, I can't do that, I think that requires a master's, or that one, you think there are people who have been able to achieve substantial career growth, not because they have the papers. I'm telling you, guys, as much as the papers are required, because you can actually join a position and go back to school and acquire the papers to back up that position. But if you throw yourself into a position of saying, I think I can take up this position, I think I can do this. Let me tell you, people who succeed, they just have confidence. Let me tell you, they only have confidence of just saying, I think I can do this. I think I can do this job. I think there's that's why they say, take up the job and then learn on the job. Why do you think people say that? You take up the job and then you learn on that job, okay? So you have to, because if you keep preventing yourself from taking the risk or putting yourself in a position of danger, because that's your mind tells you you can't do this, you can't govern 100 people, you can't be able to do this. If you continuously avoid a danger, you will never put yourself in a position of risk. Then let me tell you, how are you going to grow in any aspect of your life if you keep being afraid to do that thing? Afraid, if I go here, I'm going to run away from that position. If this happens, then I'm going to, you have to step into the danger zone where your mind, and then this is the good thing about the mind, let me tell you. Your mind works on your past experiences. For example, this is what I'm going to say. If, for example, you want to start taking risk, start small. Like, tell yourself, what is it that I've been afraid to do? What is that? So write a list of the things that you've been afraid to do. Like, you're like, I can never be found doing that. Like, how can I even be found doing that? Like, I will die before I do that, okay? Write the list. Then take the things that you think are a risk thing for you, but they are not major risk. Like you, for example, I will not tell you to go and quit your job today because that's a major risk, okay? But why can't you start with small bits of things that you feel like you are afraid to do, you are afraid to face, okay? Then take up one thing, do that thing. Just say, I'm going to do this. Even if I'm afraid, I'm going to do this thing. Like, I'm going to push myself to do this thing, okay? Then expose yourself to that danger. And when I say danger, you know, guys, what I mean. Expose yourself to that danger. And then when you do it, guess what? So now next time when you're taking the second thing from your list of danger, of things that you have always been afraid to do, your mind will try to protect you. But guess what? You can sit down and say, but Julia, you did the other thing you were afraid to do. But nothing happened. And even if it didn't go as you wanted, it was a lesson for me. So it was a win-win here. And the fact that I can have a memory at the back of my mind, like I did that thing and nothing happened. You know, like I took that risk. For once I did. So now, when you take up the second thing that you've been afraid to do, you can remind your mind, but we know we did the other thing we were afraid to do and nothing happened to us. So when you do that, you keep, your mind keeps record of, oh, so you're afraid, but, so the first thing is, I can't do this thing. But when you sit down and calm yourself down and say, but, you remember we did the last thing, but nothing happened to us. Guess what? You're going to do the second thing. So now you increase your tolerance of risk, you increase the tolerance of danger that your mind has been protecting you against. So now you keep growing. So that's why you're able even to get to a place where you're just like, I'm gonna leave this country, go to another country. Because why? We've done so many things that we were so afraid of. We've you know, even if we failed on this one, we learned a lesson from there. Now what is, and that's why you see people just wake up one day and they leave their job and they go to another country, and you're thinking, I can never do that. It's because they have a tolerance of allowing things that they were so afraid to do continuously until they go to a place where they just like, we are going to survive. Do you remember we survived the last thing? Do you remember the last thing that we did? It was the most scary thing. Like if you've ever done something so scary, and then you go to the other side of the scare, and then you're like, it was not that bad. Like I almost died at that moment when I was taking that risk. I almost never woke up. But here we are. Nothing happened to us. So now your mind, next time when you take up something else and you get you get faced with that fear, you're just able to sit down and say, no. Even the last thing was so fearful. We were so afraid. We could not breathe. But imagine we made it. Imagine you took the risk to open a business, this business. Imagine nothing happened. Imagine you're still here, a year in, 2 years in, you're still here. You can only be able to get to a place where you get out of your mind when you try to get out of your own way. Guys, you just have to get out of your own way. The reason why you're not able to get to the levels that you want to get to is because you've limited yourself to what you're capable of doing. But for you to get out of your own way, you have to start from a place of, these are the things that I'm facing. These are the things I'm afraid. So who said you cannot go and teach in another country? We didn't say that. Did we say that? Who said that? No, we didn't say that. You. Put it on you. That's all I'm gonna say, guys. Because even if you fail at that thing, believe me, you're not the same person as the person who was afraid to do that thing. So if you do something and it doesn't work, for example, if you start a business and it doesn't work, guess what? You never live there the same person. First, initially, you're even afraid to start. Now you've started. You've done a year. It didn't work. You think you're the same person who was starting from the beginning. No, you're not. You know better. You know what are the things that you didn't do. You know things that you did. You know the things that you'll not do on your next business. So you cannot be the same as someone who just comes and say, I'm starting. You and someone who is starting, you're not on the same page, apparently. So you have got to get out of your own way. Whatever thing that you want to do, you're the only person who is hindering yourself because of your self-limiting belief. You can do, be, as long as you're able-bodied, you're of sound mind, you're not sick, you're healthy. Like God has given you the health, okay? you just have to get out of your own way. Because even if you're not getting, if you're afraid, because you're afraid that, oh, I'm going to be rejected, oh, people are going to look at me this way, people are going to feel like I left my job to start a business and then it failed, and then now I'm feeling embarrassed. Guys, I have nothing to say. I have nothing to say, because you're not the same person. Do you know how many people are afraid to take a risk? Kudos to you for even trying to take the risk. Do you know how many people are afraid to take risk because of their limiting beliefs that people are going to, oh, people are going to feel, I'm going to feel embarrassed, or people are going to judge me because I left a well-paying position to go and start farming and now it didn't work out. But do you know that you have overcome something in your mind that you probably will never have? Do you know how many people are scared to even start the simplest thing? Moving to 2025, guys, this is what I'm gonna say. Please don't let me waste my saliva telling you guys you're the only person who is standing on your way. You can do anything that you want to do. You're the only person who has put that limit on you. And if there's any limiting belief that you need to work on, the way I've said, you have to just know what are those things that are limiting belief, okay? So another thing that makes people not even want to move is an imposter syndrome. So you start, and then the voice comes to your head and says, so who do you think you are to apply for that position? Which credentials do you have? They need a master's, they need a PhD, they need what? You know, like, who are you to think that you can be this person? Who are you to think that you can apply for a position outside this country? So that's you become so afraid. So all of a sudden you start even questioning your own self. You're just like, and I feel like everybody has ever gone through an imposter syndrome. And I think I'm gonna do this as a whole, like one video, okay? Where you're just in your mind, you get into your mind and now you're afraid. Because so now I started YouTube. You know how many times I have gotten to a place where I'm just like, who are you to post? Like, what are you saying? You know how many people have good content? That's an imposter syndrome, where it finds you, then it cripples you, so you stop doing what you started doing. Every time that an imposter syndrome comes, just check your where you've come from. Check. Just write. If you need to write them down, write them down. You see where I've come from. We were here, we went there, we did this. Even the smallest thing, write them down. You're just retraining your mind to say, we were able to do this. Even the smallest thing that you think they are small, you know, according to you, they might be small. But let me tell you, there are people who look at you and they just admire the fact that you're able to do that thing that you think that is small. Limiting belief. The reason why for some people are afraid to do anything is because of their past experiences. The way I've said, you started a business, it didn't work. So you go back to your cocoon and hide. Like, you're like, I will never start another business because that thing was bad. So past experiences can actually inform your future and making you not even achieve that thing, okay? Because you're just like, I will never, I got banned. Or you were in a relationship that was so bad, so you're like, I'm never going to get into another relationship. That was a big lesson for me. But to say this is to limit yourself, because you're in a relationship with one person. How can you limit yourself from going into a relationship with anybody else because you feel like your experiences is based on one person? Your experiences was based on one failed business. Do 10. Then say, oh, I'm never gonna do business because I did 10 businesses and they all failed. But you cannot base on one failure and say, now that is set, this is the truth of the matter. You have to do that, do another one, until you get to a place where you're like, oh, business is not for me. But you cannot put a limiting belief because of one thing that has not worked. Who knows, on your third business you might thrive. Who knows, on your third, like whatever you're doing, who knows, on your third relationship you might just get someone to, you know, marry you. You never know. But you can never base one thing going wrong on the rest of the things, okay? So that's what I'm gonna say. So guys, as usual, you have to challenge yourself. You have to identify your limiting belief. The stories that you've been telling yourself you cannot do, you have to go back and rewrite your story all over again. I said this one I cannot do, but who said except me? So I can do this thing, okay? Anything that you've said you cannot do, I want you to reverse it and say, I know I can do it, okay? But you have to keep reminding yourself you have the power within yourself to do anything, achieve anything, get to levels that you have never imagined. Because there are people doing these things. That's the difference, is that you just start whatever you need to start. Okay? The stories that you've been telling yourself that you can't do, you go back and say, I can do this thing. I can do this thing through Christ who has enabled me. There's a reason why most people have limiting belief. Number one, for example, you went to a school where your teacher continuously said you cannot do anything, you cannot be successful, okay? Or you were raised with parents who had such a negative impact on your growth. They will say, you cannot amount to anything, you cannot amount to anything. What makes you think that you can do these things, okay? I say this, when you have to now self-correct those things for yourself. You have to reparent yourself. Take a mirror every day and say, I think I can do this. I know I can do these things. Reparent yourself to get rid of the negative impartation that were done to you. But having done the reparenting, you have to take action. Because action, when you don't do anything about it, you still remain on the same place. So you say, they said I cannot do that. I cannot achieve this milestone in my career. Go ahead and do it. Because the minute you prove it to yourself, not to them now, you're not even actually fighting with anybody. The minute you prove it to yourself, your mind keeps record. They used to say you cannot do it. Now all of a sudden you're having this conversation of, but I did it. So what makes you think I cannot do the next thing? Okay? That's what I mean. I'm saying, I was trying to look at my lipstick. So your mind, you have to reparent your mind. Reparent your mind for the things that have been continuously said. You cannot. You're just like, I can, but I can do that, but I can do that. But what is the difference between reparenting what you have known as a limiting belief to what you want to see in your life? The bridge is the action, my dear. The bridge is the action. If someone said something that they said continuously in your mind, you have to recorrect that thing by doing, to connect this thing so that your mind knows, keeps a record of, oh, they said this, but you're able to do it. Okay? So here we are. People said we cannot do the simplest thing. People said we cannot get a PhD. Here we are. When you tell your mind, they said, and here I am doing it, all of a sudden, the confidence to do even much more of believing in yourself. Because limited self-belief, the only way to get out of them is by believing in yourself. By doing the things that you want to see in your life, to be able to achieve those milestones that you want to achieve in your life, okay? I want you guys to comment below what is some of your limiting belief and what you're going to work on so that you're able to see some of the things that you think as limiting you to achieving them, so that you start taking small action the way I've said. And let me tell you, taking even the smallest action every day is better than doing none, right? Any day you're faced with a challenge, the first thing, don't run away. Look at, can I be able to face this thing even when I'm afraid? Can I even be able to just stand up and just say, I feel like you are abusing me by the way you're speaking to me. I don't feel the way you're talking to me. Just having the courage to stand up and say, I don't like the way you communicate to me. Then your mind, next time someone talks to you badly, guess what? You think you're going to be the same person who kept quiet. No, you're just going to be, no. So now you retrain your mind to say, it's unacceptable for you to talk to me like that. Because your mind remembers the last time someone talked to you like that, you are quick to remind them in fear. Let me tell you guys, no one should lie to you that anytime you want to change something in your life, that is going to be easy. It's never easy, because you're trying to do something new, and your mind, the way I've said, it will always try to protect you, to take you back to your comfort zone. Like, if I don't talk, nothing will happen to me. It's like anytime I talk, I will disrupt something. So I have to sit in my corner and keep quiet because I don't want to disrupt anything. Your mind will try to tell you, go back to your corner, please keep quiet, because if you talk about it, you're going to cause friction and you're going to cause ripple effect. So we demand you to keep quiet, okay? Once you get out of your own way, let me see you winning. And I said, I have to, guys, I said, and I'm gonna say it again. If you've not bought a diary for 2025, why are you here? if you've not bought a diary, to write these things, because we're winning together. By the way, I'm just gonna drag some of you to winning. I want us to win together. That's the goal of anytime you want to win. You want to see people also win. Okay, so I'm just gonna say, why haven't you bought your diary? Please get your diary for 2025. Get your diary out, okay, and write, so that you see the things that have been holding you back. Why are you not going? Where are you not where you said you're gonna be beginning of 2024? Why are you not there? Yeah, write the limiting belief for why you're not where you are, because we do not want to continuously come back to the same thing. 70% of you are watching my video and are not subscribed. Please take this moment to see if you have subscribed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for subscribing. And if you like this video, kindly share, like, comment, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.